This is truly, truly a blessing to hear your story, first told to me by Rocio, and to actually meet you guys, and you guys telling me firsthand about the purchase, the remodel.
And now we have your management group taking care of the house when we're not here.
That's right, and that's important. You don't think about
huge,
that.
Huge.
Welcome to the Nick Fong Podcast. As the broker and owner of Ronival Real Estate, Nick has spent nearly 20 years in Baja California, sir. And in this podcast, he'll be talking everything Baja, from food and culture to real estate and property management. And now, here's your host, Nick Fong.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. We have two special guests, Lynn and Jim Loftus. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And I brought you on right after Rocio and Anna Lee because they were our guests on the last podcast.
Yeah.
And they talked just a lot about your property. Tell everyone about the process that you went through. You used us to buy a house.
Well, it started even before that. So we came here 2 years ago on a rental.
Okay.
And we walked in, and it was in Palmilla, and it was on a trellis.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, this is exactly what we've been looking for. So Anna said, I think this is for sale. But it wasn't the property we ended up buying. But anyway, so she greeted us with margaritas and, guacamole. It was like, this is just awesome. Then we hooked up with one of your real estate agents, looked at a lot of different houses, stayed in Palmilla, found the perfect house. We were kind of nervous about it because it needed so much work. And so the real estate agent said to us, well, don't worry about it because our company does the whole thing.
Yes.
So we were pretty worried because it needed a lot of work and we were going to take down walls and.
But Anna Lee told me that's what you guys do back home, right?
Well, he's a real estate developer.
Okay, real estate developer out of Denver, Colorado?
Denver, Boulder.
Okay. So you do this for a living?
I'm at the end of it.
At the end of it?
Yeah.
And you're spending more time down here?
Yes.
But even doing that as your core business back home and coming down here, what were some of the trepidations and concerns?
I think doing it from Boulder, Colorado to here, right? It was like,
Just experience told you that we weren't going to be able to do anything from our house.
Right.
We had to have the impetus of everything that was going to happen be centered here. And that's why it worked out perfectly, because the first day that Rocio and Anna Lee came in, possibly with Vincente, it became obvious after about 20 minutes or 30 minutes that it was going to work, that we'd be able to say, yes, go ahead.
Were you guys under contract already, or were you just still looking?
No, we were afraid to go under contract without knowing that we'd be able to do this from Colorado and feel comfortable.
Yes.
And I mean, now it's just, the end product is amazing.
So Anna Lee and Rocio were telling us a little bit about that process, but why don't you tell our viewers what that process, starting with looking at properties, finding the right property. Let's start with there.
So when we first started looking, we were kind of all over the place because we wanted to stay in Palmilla, and we were looking at prices that kind of were a wide range. We were going from like $1.5 million to $3 million. And then just when we found the property that we did get, and then COVID started, that was, a mess. But once we found the property, we wanted 4 bedrooms, we wanted 4 baths, and we found this place in Palmilla, but a lot of work, and it was scary. So once we met Anna Lee and Rocio, we just knew. We knew it was going to be okay. And it was still pretty scary because he was working a lot, still at home. But it has been just a pleasure where it's never a pleasure to remodel.
It's a lot of stress.
Right. And it wasn't. I mean, Anna Lee and Rocio answered every question. While we were in Colorado, we would have an answer in a half an hour or an hour. It was constant. I mean, we never, ever had to worry. So we feel so lucky that this all happened the way it did. We're so lucky. And the product.
Just tell everyone, so you said before you purchased the house, you knew it was Palmilla. Were you looking at other locations other than Palmilla? Where were the other communities?
Yeah,
Did we?
put
In
an
the
offer,
beginning,
we
yeah.
put an offer in on a house in Coletta.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
but in Palmilla.
That's another
Right.
community.
Coletta's in Palmilla.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
And we also tried to buy the house that we had rented,
Yes.
and that didn't work out. And we put an offer in on a house that we about 80% wanted in Coletta.
Uh-huh.
And it went about 7 or 8 or 9 days, and it didn't happen.
It wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be. And when we saw this house again, we had seen it previously when we had rented the house in Oceano, Altus. We weren't, and it was a rental,
Yeah.
and it didn't show well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't totally into it, and Lynn was into the floor plan. And she ended up.
She pulled your arm. She twisted your arm and made you
And so-
sign on the dotted line.
And that's how it worked. And we closed, and then we're put together with Rocio and Annalie, and they had somebody draw up the visions,
Right.
the things that we talked about
Mhm.
after that first day. It would actually, I'm not certain how long we were together, maybe an hour. But as we just talked about things that we wanted immediately that needed to be done. And then after that, the suggestions came as we struggled as to, I wonder how this would look, or how would that look, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I believe Vincente was with them, and he was pretty clever.
He's very clever.
And he was
Very skilled.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, he was doing things that we never would have thought of. He took the range hood, because we did all new appliances, and it was a stainless steel range hood. And we're like, I don't know if it looks right. And he said, no, no, it doesn't look right. And he built, it's beautiful. It looks very Mexican, very Spanish.
So did he build something around it?
Yes, it's gorgeous.
and tiled.
Yeah. But this isn't tiled. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, because he made it.
Yeah.
He made it. It's beautiful.
So that kind of started it, and then we waited as they put some drawings together. And I'm sorry, I don't know who it was that drew the
I think
plans.
it was David. David, who is one of our architects, did the fountain and the floor, the changes, AutoCAD, all that technical stuff.
But he ended up drawing ultimately 7 or 8 or 9 pages of possibly it was submission drawings to the HOA. Maybe it was some drawings that were required for your company to do based on real estate. But it looked great, and that's how it happened, and that was the start of it.
So I'm assuming, of course but personally speaking, back home, Denver, Boulder, have you done personal remodels of your homes?
Mm-hmm.
All the time?
But over years,
Okay.
right? It wasn't like as concentrated.
My business is more commercial,
Yeah.
and when we do apartments,
Uh-huh.
I make no attempt to get into any of the decorating, color selections, any of the floor plan stuff. It's just always, you start with an architect. The stuff that Lynn and I have done, is she has specific ideas and colors, selections, and so on. And so I'm a novice. I would still call myself a novice at it, but it worked out incredibly well considering the distance too.
How would it have been different if the house was in Denver or Boulder for you guys?
Well, we wouldn't have been able to live in it for sure, because we took it down to, nothing.
Yeah.
But it also was really quick. We just wouldn't have been able to live there.
Right.
But it wasn't, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but we never didn't have an answer right away. We never felt concerned or worried that things weren't going well.
You do a lot of stuff by feel. So the difference for me would be in Boulder, Denver, I would know the contractor. I would know the architect. I would know everybody that was doing something because I had been doing business with them for a while. So the comfort level was there. Plus, you're there. You're a mile away from somebody. You're 2 miles away, not the distance that we were. The thing that was probably the most rewarding was it didn't take very long to have Lynn bond with Rocio.
Love
And
her. I'm taking her home. I love her.
Yeah. So, and that's what it's all about, because you would not go ahead and do things or ask for things if you didn't have some expectations on the type of responses and stuff that you would get back from them. So it happened very quickly. And as we got into making some changes long distance between Lynn and Annalie, the emails or WhatsApp.
Yeah. Did you guys even know what WhatsApp was before?
I did.
You did, right. A lot of our clients don't.
No.
They just use regular text message, iMessage.
It was like, don't they ever read their emails?
WhatsApp.
It's all WhatsApp. So, anyhow.
Well, it's owned by Facebook, so...
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, Meta. Hey, thanks for being a part of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest updates. And if you're watching this on our social channels, please like and share. And if you want to be featured or you want me to talk on a certain topic, food, activities, culture, real estate in the Baja, drop a comment. Okay, so great experience. You're in the house. First, how long did this whole process take after closing?
A year, maybe?
To be finished?
Well, the thing is, too, don't forget we were going through COVID.
Construction.
So,
delays.
right. So there was a lot of times where we'd expect something to be happening, and then it was somebody on our end had COVID, somebody on your end had COVID. So, but still, even a year to take it down almost to the studs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And so how long has it been now with the finished product?
We stayed some in June, and then was pretty much finished the last time that we came.
December. Yeah.
It was all.
And now
in
this
June,
time.
In June, we wanted June was a date that was really important because June was the first month that the Homeowners Association allowed outside noise,
right,
to go on. So the work that was being done in those months, those COVID months, was inside.
Yeah.
But virtually no noise.
Right.
So they weren't able to attack anything on the outside.
Right.
So it wasn't a deal where you just said, we can do
anything and everything whenever you want. You actually had a schedule.
Yeah, we had to wait.
It's very common actually in gated communities, especially high-end communities, where they limit when you can do the heavy noise construction.
Right.
And it's so June, that's the beginning of our summer. It makes sense that they allow.
Yeah, right. June to November is when you can do your noise.
We were limited at the beginning because it was right in the rental season, I guess, the long-term rental season for the neighbors that we had. So it probably wasn't quite the way everybody in your organization wanted it to go. You'd go, they'd finish, they'd stop. They couldn't do certain things outside. And then you'd wait. So I suppose that the amount of time that they probably could have taken, if they could have just started and never stopped, could have been 6 or 7 months.
And so you've been in it for several months now. Yeah. Friends and family have visited.
Yeah.
And what have they been saying?
We had friends come who have traveled the world. They were just here. We had Anna Lee over for the big margaritas.
Oh yeah, so having big margaritas helps make friends really fast too, right?
That's right.
So we had Anna Lee over to meet them, but they have traveled the world, and they walked in, and he said, "This is the most beautiful place. You want to just sit down and look around." And it's like you just can sit there. And it's so beautiful to look at the different things. And Rocio hooked us up with this great designer for furniture, Yambe. And it's just so wonderful to sit there. It's interesting. It's fun. And for our friends to say that, it was like, oh, that means so much.
Yes.
And now our daughter really wants to live here. She wants.
Daughter, right now she's living in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were just here. They just went back this past weekend.
Yeah.
So this is now where she wants to go.
Yeah.
Well, especially now with the snow and it's cold.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And they're
true.
in Evergreen, Colorado, where they get a lot of snow. Yeah. So,
Got it.
but
9 or 10 inches today.
yeah.
So what's the plan for you guys? You're going to be down here during most of the winter months?
We're hoping. Yeah.
And you're winding down the business?
We're down to, we're starting our last project, which is an apartment project in May. And I won't be running it. I'll be watching it. And have trusted people running it. So I think I don't really have a lot of excuses come this coming winter to not spend the winter here.
And so
That's
for those
probable.
that don't know, this is a direct flight for you guys.
Oh, yes.
Oh, 2.5 hours.
And daily flights?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's so easy.
What? 2 a day? Nonstop? 2 a day
Yeah.
nonstop.
Well, on United, we
On
fly.
United?
Yeah.
Okay. So daily flights, direct, 2.5 hours.
So easy.
Snow to sunshine in hours.
Yeah. And the people are so sweet here, really kind. So it feels so nice when we come back. We've met our neighbors now this time. They're having cocktail parties because everybody's here for the winter.
That's right.
So that's nice. But the culture is so fun. The art walk on Thursday night in San Jose is...
So one of the things clients that aren't purchasers, owners in the Cabo Baja are concerned with is safety. What would you
isn't
say
that
about
fun?
safety?
I feel right now I could say it might be more safe than the States right now, just on certain things. But we have never, when I see that, isn't it amazing? Because it's so safe.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are reading certain little things that don't really have anything to do with this area or, anywhere.
It's mainland Mexico, the border states.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. I'm never afraid. We leave our door unlocked.
You didn't hear that?
We'll cut that.
We've been here since we contracted on the house. We've been here 8 times. So 8 trips. A couple of them were to stay in a hotel at Palmilla while we were watching stuff going on. And I don't think there was ever any consideration given to. We weren't going anywhere. We were not. We were not with a car, so we did most everything by taxi. And what happened for us is that over those trips, Costco trips, go eat it somewhere in Cabo, eat somewhere in San Jose, we kind of feel like we know the main streets and where to go, and we can pretty much find everything. So
It's familiar.
yeah, it's totally.
You're now locals.
Yeah. If we could just speak Spanish.
Well, you got a lot of people that don't speak.
I know. We're trying.
That do speak English. Most of the people speak English.
Absolutely, but we feel like we should try to assimilate better. So we did take lessons. We're too old to learn anything new, so we just have to listen.
So besides learning Spanish, what are some of the things that both of you want to do for the first time or more of while being in Cabo?
I think, you know what? So here's something we just did, and it was Anna Lee said to us, and we've gone to Todos Santos before, so just like little
Day trips.
exploring.
Exploring.
We've heard from you guys about La Paz, so we haven't been there yet. But Anna Lee sent me a text the other day, and she said, "Go to this place in Todos Santos," and
Santa Terra, yeah.
Oh
Amazing.
my gosh, it was so all those things like that.
Little secrets, hidden spots.
I mean,
we learn about it all the time.
Yes.
This cafe in Todos Santos, this hamburger joint in La Paz, right? And just like these little gems.
That you come home, I mean, it was a magical day. It was this place with this beautiful garden, and so things like that, discovering, and with Annalie and Rocio always kind of giving us little pings of where to go. So we've been discovering new places, and now we're driving here.
Yes.
So that was, at first
scary.
Scary at first. Well, the turnarounds, where you're going under a bridge with the.
Yeah. You go around and over and back around. You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
that's right.
So now he's a good driver.
Where are you going? Well, we're going there. Oh, you went by it. I know I went by it. We've got to turn around and come back. So no, it's getting familiar.
Yeah.
And that is adds to the thought that it's pretty safe because I know what I'm doing, or I know where I'm going. I might not know what I'm doing, but at least I.
Who am I? What am I doing?
That's right. But yeah, no, I don't think we've had. We haven't even remotely come close to any issue.
Well, I think familiarity, knowing your surroundings, knowing the people, knowing the culture, helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I think ignorance is probably over 50% of the perceived safety.
That's right? Just I don't know any. Our friends certainly don't feel that way. We even have a cab driver that the other day we were on our morning walk, and he's like, "Hi, you guys."
Just recognizes you,
right,
knows you guys
from walking around. Yeah, so we're surprised when we read that kind of stuff that people are concerned about it.
Well, guys, this is truly, truly a blessing to hear your story, first told to me by Rocio, and to actually meet you guys, and you guys telling me firsthand about the purchase, the remodel.
And now we have your management group taking care of the house when we're not here.
That's right, and that's important. You don't think about
huge,
that.
Huge.
So.
Because we let Anna know when we're coming, and all of a sudden the pool's warmed up, the house
the
is
margaritas
clean.
and chips and salsa waiting for you.
It's lovely. We wanted to take the time to say thank you to you guys because it's been really lovely.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And guys, from Colorado to Cabo, we have clients coming in all the time. And until the next one, maybe it'll be a client from Hawaii, New York. Who knows? Until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate. And follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.